Happy Saturday. This video we are looking at the Draftkings and Fanduel NFL picks for the Sunday main slate. We have a 12-gamer on Draftkings this week. Let's get started with the picks. Enjoy the videos. Appreciate the like button. Subscribe if you haven't already. You can check out links in the description as well. Looking at the quarterback options for this Sunday slate, you have a few guys, a handful of guys at 7K or more. You have Lamar going up against Denver. He's been great for the Ravens, already 17 touchdown passes thrown. He's had 2 games with 4+ already this year. And the matchup here, Broncos, they've been surprisingly, they've always been a good defensive team, but their offense has also been a little bit better as of late with Bo Nix at the helm. And I just don't think Lamar will be too popular. Probably see that one being a little bit of a lower scoring type of game, especially when you got Jalen Hurts a couple $100 cheaper. The Eagles are back on track. Hurts been playing really well. 5 rushing touchdowns the last 2 games. If you had Saquon Barkley in fantasy, you're probably not super happy about that. But tush push is something that they're not going to go away from. So spot against Jacksonville, going up against their former coach here in Dougie P. I think Hurts is a good play. You got a lot of guys that are valuable and valuable for the price range and pretty cheap. So if you want to go with Bo Nix, he's going to use his legs a little bit. Got a rushing touchdown last game. He's been throwing better. He's had 2 straight games without an interception. He's actually had 4 out of So after the first 2 weeks where he had 4 picks, he's only had 1 in the rest of the season. So he's been really making good decisions with the ball. I'm going to go all the way down to 54 for Jameis Winston. So, just another pretty a blemish on how the Browns have played this season is when Winston comes in and just their offense looks like a completely different story. So he's always been a good guy for fantasy production. He's just sometimes gets into mistakes and throws some picks, but he's always going to take shots downfield. He threads the needle. And against the Ravens defense that is talented, he put up 28 fantasy points. Value at this price tag at $5,400 only went up $200. And the Chargers, they're also good defensively. You could see this one being low scoring. It's probably likely, but I think at 54 for Winston, I think he's still somebody that you could get to, and he's a guy that could use his legs a little bit as well. He didn't use much last game, but he can run a little bit as well. Running back picks for this week, you have some guys above 8,000. Henry, Saquon, good picks. Henry's has had a couple of receiving touchdowns this season, so he's always pretty much a lock to get you at least 1 touchdown. He hasn't had 1 game without a touchdown this season. I think he's a good pick. Barkley a little bit cheaper, but you also got to worry about Hurts taking away some touchdowns from him. But in this one, he's probably going to be able to break off some big runs against a bad Jacksonville rush defense. I'm looking to go with some value picks here. I don't mind Kamara at 78. But you have a bunch of guys below 7,000 that are looking like good plays. It's going to start off by going with Chase Brown at 59. So going to see the Bengals a bit banged up this week. Zach Moss is doubtful. And also T. Higgins is doubtful. So you'll probably see Brown get you 15+ carries, a couple targets, a couple of receptions as well. Chance to get into the end zone. I got to like him at that $5,900 price tag. And then you also have looking at maybe a little bit more expensive options here. Shuba Hubbard 65 I like. Going over to the Miami side, I like going to Devon A-Chain at $6,700. So you got your picks of you got your fair share of options here. I like A-Chain. He gets receptions too. He's gonna get carries. He can always break off that big gainer as he did last week. Matchup against Buffalo. The Dolphins. They've been, their season's really not much right now, but maybe if they get off to a nice streak or win some games in a row, they can turn their season around. Now that Tua is back for them, but I think 1867 is still a good value at that price tag. Other guy I like is Shuba Hubbard, $6,500. DeAndre Swift is running the ball a lot better for the Bears. You can definitely take a shot with him. In 4 straight games with 20+ fantasy points, you gotta like that. Also gets a good spot here against Arizona's rush defense. Catch you some passes as well. Wide receivers, I'm going to go up and pay up for CeeDee Lamb. So you got the Cowboys, they need a win. The Falcons, they're also, they don't need a win as desperately as the Cowboys, just because the Cowboys have Lost 2 straight games. And CeeDee Lamb has finally had a huge game last time out. 17 targets, 2 touchdowns. A lot of that did come late in the fourth quarter. The game was, still technically in reach, but a lot of that came in garbage time stats. I think in this one, going up against Atlanta, they're going to try to continue to just feed CeeDee the ball, take shots with him. We'll be shocked if he doesn't get you 10-plus targets in this one. You also got to like Jamar Chase because T. Higgins is doubtful. If you don't have him, then it's more touchdown opportunities for Jamar Chase. I think both are good picks. I'm just going to go up to CeeDee Lamb instead. And looking at some 6K options, I like Drake London if you want to stack that game up a little bit. He's only $6,700. Good price range. Metcalf is out again for the Seahawks. Could take a shot on Smith and Jigba at $6,200. You have Calvin Ridley had a huge game for the Titans last time out. No Hopkins anymore. And you see Mason Rudolph be a much better passer than Will Levis. So I think you could look to him if you wanted to. I'm going to take a shot on Ladd McConkey at $5,600. Just a guy that's super reliable. He doesn't drop passes. He gets opportunities to maybe take a short pass and go 20, 30 yards, take it upfield. He even has 4 touchdowns on the season, 2 last game, but 56 for Justin Herbert's favorite weapon. I'm going to play him at that price tag. And then looking super cheap, you got Cedric Tillman. He's only $4,300. He's had 21 targets with the last 2 games. Most of that's with Winston at the quarterback position and played 90% of snaps last week. Losing or getting rid of Cooper for them has been what's allowed Tillman to play really well and get the opportunities last couple weeks. And with Winston as the quarterback, I think him and Tillman make for a good cheap stack with a lot of upside. McConkey to bring it back. Game could probably won't get a ton of love because the total is not super high, but I like the price tags on a lot of these guys, and I think they have a ton of upside with McConkey, Tillman, Winston, and then value picks with Brown and A-Chain as running backs. Pay up for CeeDee Lamb. Then you got a bunch of other picks to look towards to fill out your rest of the few spots. But at tight end, pay up for Bowers if you wanted to, or McBride, I think, are good picks. If you're looking for value, you have Gesicki played really well without Higgins last week and could get an opportunity again. Maybe it'll be a little bit popular, so if you want to get off of him. Then Mark Andrews continues to get opportunities now after the first few weeks where he basically got nothing. So continues to get into the end zone, and he just continues to be utilized in those situations. For the Ravens, flex position, same guys I talked about. Defense-wise, looking down here, the Giants defense super cheap at 23. Don't hate that. The Seahawks 26. Probably a couple that you could look to. The Bears at 28. If you want to pay up, then probably look to the Saints defense at 38, or take a shot on maybe the Lions if Jordan Love isn't able to play. We'll see. But that's what I got for the DraftKings side. Let's take a look at Fanduel. Pretty similar with the picks. Only one different is going Shuba Hubbard instead of A-Chain. Even though I do like A-Chain, you can probably fit him in your flex if you want to, but he's $900 cheaper. Probably be a little bit of a better option if you just had to pick one of them. Still going with CeeDee, especially if Chase is $400 more. Go give me CeeDee Lamb, 91 in a dome. Tillman and McConkey, just 2 cheap wide receivers in that game. Probably get a lot of the targets from the respective quarterbacks, and I like their price tags. And then you got Harrison Jr., 7,000. Olave, if Carr is there. Let's see if Carr is going to play this week. Yep, so Olave is a good pick if you wanted to go with him against the Panthers defense. And then Terry McLaurin continues to get a ton of volume for the Commanders. Tight end wise, Bowers is pretty expensive, so maybe McBride instead. Go with Njoku if you wanted to. Mark Andrews only 58. I like that price tag. And then at defense, going to Seattle, they're down at $3,600. I think they're a good pick. You could look to the Falcons if you're not going to be looking at some of the Cowboys picks. Prescott's been turnover prone a little bit this season, and pay up, same that I mentioned over on DraftKings. So that's what I got for this week. Best of luck if you're going to use some of these picks. Let me know what other guys that you like, and I will see you all next time.